Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Telegram Football Insiders. I'm Josh Walfish, joined, as always, by my colleague Ethan Joyce. Ethan, obviously a very emotional time for me. This is now my second to last edition of Telegram Football Insiders. Don't worry, you're not getting rid of me yet. I'll still be back tomorrow to recap Week 6. But it's one of the things we're talking off cam. Week 6 is an interesting week of high school football. A lot of teams playing softer competition this week, but there are two big games I feel like we have to talk about. The first one is Nash Central at Bunn. When I look at this game, the thing that shocks me the most is last year Foster and I were sitting here, and Foster was at that game. He talked about how Bunn ran for more than 550 yards. They put up 70-plus points, and it looked like Nash Central was just DOA, dead on arrival. Now the Bulldogs are 4-1. Bunn is 4-1. The Bulldogs are playing a lot better, and I'm going to guarantee you one thing. There's not going to be 70-plus points put up on the board by Bunn this year.
Yeah, and it's really going to be a great test to see where this Big East is going to come out in a couple of weeks, just because we've seen Southern Nash play Bunn and have a great game against them, and we're really going to learn maybe where Nash Central is going to fall just by this game, and it's going to be interesting, for them for this season and for the seasons upcoming when they go down to 2.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you. This game is going to teach us a lot about Nash Central and how competitive they can be within the Big East, because I'll tell you this much: Southern Nash, Rocky Mount High, Fike, Hunt, those teams are going to be equal, if not a little bit better than Bunn is. So if they go to Bunn and lose by quite a number of touchdowns, doesn't bode well for them come Big East play. But I think you and I both agree. This is going to be a one-score game. I'm pretty sure, just because Bunn's not explosive as they were last year when they went to the state title game, and Nash Central's defense is a lot better than what we saw last year. So I think it's going to be a fairly tight game. The other game we have to talk about is the game of the week, the only game that's actually being played in the Twin Counties this weekend. The Function at the Junction. Southwest Edgecombe visiting Tarboro. I'm just going to kind of throw out a general sort of, what do you think of this game before we start to really analyze this game more deeply?
I really want to see how Tarboro is going to react, and I'm sure they're going to react well. You come off two consecutive losses, and that's never the best feeling in the world. But now they've actually had the proper amount of time to prepare. They've had the proper amount of time to really look at their opponent, and it's going to be interesting to see how they recover.
Now, the one thing about Tarboro that sort of has struck me the past two games when they played Northern Nash and Southern Nash was offensively they seem to have really struggled against some of the better defenses they faced so far this year. And if Southwest Edgecombe can do anything very well, it's play defense. Mm-hmm. You looked at last week, they only go up 6 points with their first team defense. They score with their defense. Against Nash Central, they got 2 critical turnovers that helped set up eventual touchdowns. Their defense is what keeps them in games, and quite frankly has won them that game last week. Mm-hmm. What do you think Tarboro can do to sort of help get that offense moving a little bit better against some of the better defenses that they face?
I think it would be bad to see a couple big plays out of Tarboro, especially if you can do it in the passing game. I think that would be great to really set up what they like to do, which is run the ball, which is what everyone likes to do around here. But if you get a couple more reps of throwing the ball, I think you can really open that offense up and get those lanes kind of expanding.
Well, we saw that against Southern Nash too. On their first drive, they have. I can't remember his actual name, but everybody calls him Dada. He's wide open behind the defense. He drops that third down pass, and Tarboro has to punt. There are a couple other times where they've had Shaquem Hussey on deep routes and either been overthrown or just out of his reach. Just the big plays were there last week against Southern Nash. They just didn't execute them as well as they, I think, would have liked to. I'll flip it over defensively. Can they play any better than they did last week?
I don't think so. I still think that was just an incredible game by them. And for for it to be a 21-10 score, that obviously wasn't indicative of what the game actually was. It was so tight that whole game, but to really put a clamp on that Southern Nash offense, that was so impressive.
As you've come to learn, and I'm sure all of our viewers know very well, I am sort of the Edgecombe County correspondent here at the Telegram, and one of the things that stands out to me personally about this game is the fact that Southwest Edgecombe is going to have to win it with its offense, and that's terrible to say personally because, again, I think we talked about this with the Northern Nash game potentially when they played Tarboro. But Tarborough's defense is clearly the best of the 4 units, and Southwest Edgecombe's offense is by far the worst of the 4 units. And then you have Southwest Edgecombe's defense, which is very, very good, and Tarborough's offense, which is sort of struggling. And so if Tarborough's offense can just score a touchdown or 2, that might be enough. And that's the part that I think is going to be interesting. This is not going to be a game where Tarboro is going to run away with it. This is sort of game where I'm thinking it's going to be a 14 to nothing, 14 to 7 type of game, because I don't see either offense really being able to put up a lot of points. But I don't know. For me, I have a lot more faith in the Tarboro offense than the Southwest Edgecombe offense. I know you haven't seen the Cougars much, but just quickly, prediction: how do you envision this game could potentially go?
I mean, I personally don't feel like it can go any other way besides a Tarboro win. I really feel like they're, one, they're just the better team, and 2, they've got 2 losses and they don't want another one. So I feel like that it's really going to be the Vikings kind of getting everything right and really putting on a show for you tomorrow.
Well, we will certainly see, and you can check back in Saturday morning as always to hear our recap of Week 6 here in the Twin Counties.